Do you tend to leave things till the last minute? Does that habit ever come back to bite you? And do you own anything that is on its last legs? If you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry. We are going to learn these 3 idioms that I just mentioned. They're very commonly used, and we're going to learn them so that you can sound more natural in English. We've got a great show lined up for you today. My name is Jacob. I am your English TV guide. I am substituting for Lloyd, who normally hosts this show, and we're going to hear from Lloyd in a minute. But before we do anything, I'd just like to remind you that the English TV Guide is brought to you by our private community at English TV Live. If you enjoy learning English live, if you enjoy being part of a community and working together with other people to reach your goals, if you love the live experience of learning English, you'll love our private community at English TV Live. We have live lessons throughout the week taught by our team of expert English teachers from Monday to Friday. It's pretty awesome. I'm going to be in there in a little bit for Real Talk with Natalie. This is a show where Natalie interviews some of our teachers and asks personal questions, and it's a listening comprehension exercise too. Also, if you are new here, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're live here with this daily show. Lloyd will be back tomorrow. I saw many of you missing him in the comments, but don't worry, we will hear from Lloyd very soon, okay? So let me check on the comments to see how everyone is doing. Emma is here in the comments. That's awesome. What's going on, Emma? Hope you're doing well. Lloyd is here too. Well, there you go. You guys don't have to miss Lloyd anymore. He hasn't slept for about 30 hours, but Lloyd is doing well otherwise. Hello, Emma. Hello, Lloyd. I hope you guys both are doing better. Julia is here. Risa is watching. Aurora. Lolly Lolly. Sarah. Fikrie. Nim is here too. What is up, everyone? All right. So Lloyd is already here, but that's okay because he can maybe respond to your questions in the comments. But we have a video from Lloyd. This is a video that he made yesterday. Okay, he sent it to me. He hasn't slept for 30 days, he just said in the comment section. Here's why. Lloyd is flying to South Africa, or he flew to South Africa yesterday, and apparently, he's told me before, he doesn't do well on planes when it comes to sleeping. But anyways, I'm going to play you a video that Lloyd made for us, and right after that, we're going to learn some of the idioms that he uses in this video, okay? So here is Mr. Lloyd.
Hello everybody, hello Mr. Jacob, how you doing? Greetings from Heathrow Airport here in London. It's been a bit of a crazy morning so far. I have a bad habit, which I think Jacob has as well, and that is leaving things until the last minute. So if you leave things until the last minute, you procrastinate, and then you finally do what you have to do. In this case, I always leave my packing until the last minute. And actually, in this case, it came back to bite me. Something comes back to bite you, it has a bad effect. So let me show you what I'm talking about. You can see here, my bag has broken, become unzipped. It's a very old bag actually, so it's been on its last legs for a while. If something's on its last legs, that means it's going to break soon or die soon. So I knew I needed to get a new bag, but I didn't. And now this bag is broken. I need to go and buy a new one because it's totally unzipped. So yeah, that's not very fun, but that's what happens when you leave things to the last minute. Anyway, I'm going to go and check in for my flight now. So hope you all enjoy the show with Jacob. And yeah, back to you, Mr. Jacob.
What's really funny is you guys can't see this right now, but I have this software that allows me to stream live, and I have all of these different scenes set up that I'm showing you right now. And Lloyd's video is the scene that I just played for you. The title of the scene on my end is Last Minute Lloyd. So maybe that will be his new nickname, Last Minute Lloyd. Okay, awesome. So let's get started. Lloyd used some idioms there that we're going to talk about today. All of the idioms he used are very commonly used in English, so they're extremely helpful to know. To leave something to the last minute. What does that mean? Well, if you leave something to the last minute, you wait until the last possible minute to do that thing. You procrastinate. And often when you leave things to the last minute, it doesn't really work out so great. So what can we say? We can say Lloyd left his packing till the last minute. Now, something funny that happened. I was looking online and researching this phrase a little bit and seeing where it's used on the internet. And I found a headline for an article that said, "The stereotype is true. Men really do leave packing to the last minute." I know in his video, Lloyd mentioned that I also have this problem, or suggested that I have this problem. I definitely do, especially when it comes to packing my bags for trips. I leave it till the last minute. A stereotype, by the way, is a general belief about how a certain group of people are. And when we have sometimes stereotypes are kind, sometimes, very often, they're not so kind. But it's a belief about a group of people. So men, women, teenagers maybe, people from a certain country. One stereotype about Canadians is that Canadians are very kind. That's a stereotype. People generally believe that Canadians are very polite and kind. And apparently there's a stereotype that men really leave packing to the last minute. One quick thing before we move on, you'll notice the preposition has changed. To leave something to the last minute is also okay. You can even use the preposition for. Okay, so to leave something till the last minute, to leave something for the last minute, to leave something to the last minute, you'll hear native speakers use these prepositions with this expression, with this idiom. I have a question for you guys. In the comment section, if you had to give advice to Lloyd, and I hope that Lloyd is still here because that would be awesome. Imagine Lloyd came to you right now and he said, "Really, I need your help. This is a big problem in my life. Can you please help me? How can I stop procrastinating? Every time I have a trip, every time I have a flight to catch, I pack my bags very late and bad things happen. Can you help me?" If Lloyd approached you and said that, what would you say to Lloyd? Let me know in the comment section. Seems like we have some people who also leave packing till the last minute. And French are very kind, I think, says Lolly Lolly. All right, so Lloyd is in the comment section, which is perfect. And maybe you guys can give some advice to him. Grace says, "You need to hire me. I'll pack all your things earlier than you expected. Ha 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 ha." All right, so Lloyd, that could be one solution to your problem, to hire Grace. Grace is always thinking about business. Julia says, "I do the same. I pack my stuff in the last moment." All right, so going against the stereotype there. Emma, you can be as vulgar as you want to Lloyd. There's a nice piece of advice from Sarah. Imagine that your trip is earlier than the real date. Nim says you should hire someone to do this for you. Haha, just kidding. All right, Lloyd, well, I've done my best here to help you. I've gone to our followers to ask for their advice, so maybe you can pick something out here and that will help. Helen says, "Wake up, Lloyd." All right, let's move on. Okay. Next, he used the idiom comes back to bite. So he didn't pack his bags on time and it came back to bite him. So if something comes back to bite someone, what that means is that something you did in the past, or more often than not, something you ignored in the past, comes back to haunt you in the present moment. It makes your life in the present moment more difficult. In this case, we can say Lloyd left his packing till the last minute, and it came back to bite him. Now, I've got a listening comprehension question for you guys, okay? How did it come back to bite him? He was talking about this in the video, but what did he say? How did this come back to bite him? He left his packing till the last minute. It came back to bite him. How? What happened? Let me know in the comment section. And while you're typing away, while we're waiting for the delay, I wanted to suggest a video for you guys to watch if you're interested. I was thinking about this idiom when something comes back to bite you, and this video that I watched a long time ago came to my mind. It's a perfect example of this idiom, or at least the story is. So this is a TED Talk that you can watch. The link is in the description. And there are two people here. One of them on the right, John Ronson, is the presenter. And the person on the left, her name is Justine Sacco. And she's the subject of this TED Talk. So what happened to Justine Sacco was she was traveling somewhere. I think this was back in 2013. And she made a tweet. She tweeted, and in her tweet, she made a joke that a lot of people got really offended by. And she got on the flight. She flew to where she was going. And while she was on her flight, this tweet that she made, it went viral. It blew up. It became really popular. Everyone on the internet was talking about it, and her life was impacted in a crazy, crazy way because of this tweet. Okay? So it's an example, and I think this happens very, very often in the modern world. It's an example of how the things we say online can come back to bite us, right? Very often you see, this often happens with celebrities, people will say something online, they'll make a tweet or a post or whatever it is, and they won't think too much about it, and that will come back to bite them later. So that's an example of how you could use this idiom. Okay, let me check on the comments here. Good, Lolly Lolly says his luggage was broken. It affected him in a negative way, says Sarah. Good, but how? He can marry a good wife. I think Aurora is still giving you suggestions. That's a nice suggestion, Lloyd. Maybe you can marry someone who will help you with that problem. Grace says, because he's unprepared for the next situation. Not quite. Not quite. His bag was unzipped, says Julia. Good. You need a rocket up your arse. Doesn't sound cool when I say it without the British accent. Good. So what happened in the video, you can watch the replay of this lesson. I won't play the video again. But Lloyd said he left his packing till the last minute, and he was rushing and rushing and rushing, and his bag broke, right? So his luggage was broken. Good job if you got that one right. Let's move on to the last idiom for today. On its last legs. Lloyd was talking about his bag, and he said that it's been on its last legs for a while. If something is on its last legs, that thing will stop working soon. It's old, it doesn't work as well anymore. It's on its last legs. Right now, for example, I don't know if you can hear it, but the fan for my laptop is coming on, and it's been coming on more frequently over the past few months, and I'm concerned about this. I'm concerned that my laptop might be on its last legs. This car that I'm showing you in the picture here, it looks to me like it was on its last legs a long time ago. It looks to me like it's already dead. It's not working anymore. So maybe this car was on its last legs a long time ago. If something is on its last legs, it's still presently working, but not for too long, or at least you're guessing that it won't work for too much longer. So Lloyd was talking about his bag. Lloyd was talking about his bag, and he said it was on its last legs, but now it's broken. Last question for you today. Let me know in the comment section, do you own something that is on its last legs? Do you own anything that is on its last legs? I just told you about my MacBook Air. Fingers crossed that it's not on its last legs and that it will last a long time, but you never know. So to sum everything up too, while I'm waiting for your comments, Lloyd said, or we could say about Lloyd, that Lloyd left his packing till the last minute and it came back to bite him. His bag was on its last legs and now it's broken. Now, one thing that I would say, we are in this lesson using these idioms a lot. Be careful when you're using idioms. I'm going to release a podcast episode soon. That's right. The English TV Live podcast is starting very soon. And you're going to hear Lloyd and I in the very first episode talking about this, really the danger of idioms. One thing that I see is that English learners, they'll learn an idiom and they'll tend to use it too often. We do use idioms quite often in English, but you have to use them sparingly. Don't use them as much as I'm using them here, for example. This is just to teach you what the idiom is. We do use these 3 idioms very commonly. I can tell you that I use them very regularly. But just be careful. Don't overuse your idioms because that can make you sound more unnatural. It can actually have the reverse effect. Because, of course, you're trying to sound more natural using idioms. Julia says, my tablet. Maybe you have a table too that's on its last legs. My tablet is on its last legs. Good question. Sarah says, can we use on its last legs with people or just for things? And I would completely agree with Lloyd's answer. You can use it for people, but you have to be very, very careful because it can sound quite insensitive. So I would recommend not using it for people. We mostly use it for things. But I'll give you an example. My mom has a cat that's very old. The cat's like 15 years old. And I was talking to my brother the other day. The cat's name is Iggy. And I said, yeah, I think Iggy's on her last legs. Now, I'm speaking with my brother, so we're friendly with each other. It can sound insensitive at times, so I would just be very, very careful about that. But great question. Okay. The other Sarah Cadeau says, my furniture is on its last legs and I need to change it. Good, be careful there because when you say my furniture, it sounds like you're talking about all of the furniture in your house, right? So if you say my furniture is on its last legs, it means you need to replace everything. Maybe that's true, but my guess is that you're speaking more specifically maybe about 1 or 2 or 3 things in your house. Julia says, poor cat. Yes, poor Iggy. She's lived a good life though, I think, for the most part. All right. My iPhone 5 is on its last legs, says Risa. That's too bad, Risa. iPhones are expensive. They're a big purchase, so I hope that your iPhone lasts for a long time. But sometimes people get excited about electronics being on their last legs because it means they get to buy new electronics. I've definitely experienced that before. You know, sometimes when you want something to break. Anyways, that is everything that I have to say today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the English TV Guide. Lloyd will be back live tomorrow. He is safe and sound in South Africa. He's arrived, so things are going well there. And yeah, it's been a pleasure being with you. I'll be back on this YouTube channel later, eventually, once Lloyd and I figure out a good solution for technology. it turns out that it's quite difficult to do the things that we're trying to do online in terms of technology, but we will figure it out. And again, one last time, I would just like to remind you, if you're not a member of our private community at English TV Live, follow the link in the description below. You're going to love it if you enjoy this live experience, learning English live with expert English teachers. We teach a lot inside of our group, and we really challenge you to participate and to take your English to the next level. So enjoy your Wednesday, everyone. Thank you so much. If you're a private member in our community, I will be live in about 2 hours with Natalie, who's going to be quizzing me about pop culture, and we'll have a listening exercise for you guys. So that should be a lot of fun. Real talk with Natalie is always a challenge. That's about it for today, everyone. Enjoy your Wednesday. You'll be back with Lloyd tomorrow. See you later. Bye-bye.